Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes, yes. Let me know. Can you hear me now? Yay. Okay. All right. I thought I had checked that when I logged in. See, that's why I logged in a few minutes early. We're not starting till 2. All right. And I'm getting live on the TikToks so they can see me too. Okay. All right. All right. Looks like we're live on Instagram. Looks like we're alive in the Facebook group. And looks like we're live on YouTube, on the Facebook page. Yay! And we're live here on TikTok as well. Although the TikTok would be the worst place to watch it. I think the best place is either going to be inside the Facebook group or the YouTube channel, probably the best place. And I think we haven't been able to stream in the Facebook. I didn't stream in the Facebook group last time, but I figured out how to do it. All right. I'm literally watching your provisions video right now. I was watching coinsurance and suddenly I received the notification of the live. Yes. All right. So I am doing live tutoring with people. And I pass out a link so you can actually join the tutoring. I already have one person in line, Tina. So I'll bring you, so my desire with this live tutoring is that I'll bring you up on the screen if you want to join me. By the way, on TikTok, the best place to go to watch this is going to be on the YouTube channel or in the Facebook group so that you can actually see everything. So TikTok doesn't work with StreamYard, which is what I'm using to go live on the other places. So if you're on the TikTok, go to the YouTube channel. It's going to be the better place. I just wanted you guys to know that I was here. All right, Miles has been added to the line. So with this live tutoring, I'm able to bring people on, figure out what's going on, where they're at with their studies, if they failed, if they've passed, whatever it is, talk with them. It could be a life and health, could be property and casualty. We don't know until we bring people on and find out. And then we also have another one scheduled next week already for the 20th. So if you want to come back on the 20th, and I'm just going to take first come, first serve. So whoever clicks the link to join in, I already got Tina, Miles, and Genesis in line to join. And so you can come on, join the link. Sav has entered as well. And I'm just going to go down. It keeps it in order of who clicked when. So I'm just going to keep it on going down the line. And again, if you're on the TikTok channel, it's going to be much better to watch this on the YouTube channel. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first person. I got Tina here. Tina, can you unmute and or get on camera if possible? Let's see, reading the comments. Everyone in the chat, congrats. Yes, I'm getting ready to take the life and health combined for state of Alabama. All right, Tina is gone. All right, I'm going to add Miles.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
I know. So I live in Michigan and I'm taking my life exam. I've taken about 5 times already and I've gotten about 70% each time. I have to pass 72. I have to get 72 to pass.
Yeah.
And I just saw your video this morning when it says like instead of listening to the practice exams, just kind of reread the courses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what I'm trying to do right now. My main struggle is the provisions. So like I said in the chat, I've already been I was literally watching your video while you started the live stream. So
okay. So yeah, in the state of Michigan, you do need a higher score. So you're very close, it sounds like. If you got a 70, you need a 72. Do you have my gold videos or you do not have those?
I do not have those, no.
Okay. So are you able to get that package or not? It's available for purchase. It's $99 on the website.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm happy to help you here right now, but like, so the very best, and since you're only like 2 points away, 2 percentages away, it could be better even for you to get, say, like the bronze package, which is $29. It's about 8 to 15 hours of video, I think, on bronze.
Okay.
But that way the way, like Miranda just said in the comments, gold is the best. So I like all of the way that I like everything I would want you to learn and everything I'd want you to know to pass the exam, I put into the gold class series package. And
Mm-hmm.
it teaches you the most common, most tested topics. It's available for purchase on the website, $99. You get 100 days access. You can watch the videos as much as you want, take notes, etc. That'll be the very best. Since you're a couple of points away though, maybe $29 bronze would be, ideal. But also the provisions video you were watching is also great. You were watching the life and health combined provisions video on YouTube.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let me just quiz you a little bit and kind of see where you're at. So, what is and you're doing life and health or just life?
Life and health.
Life and health. Okay. What does the time limit on certain defenses mean?
Oh wait, I think I might be just doing life. Wait.
Okay. So what does incontestability mean?
The incontestability period pretty much means, let's say, if I were to mess up, if the insurer were to mess up on the application, and if pretty much I won't be able to change the policy or contest about it.
Okay, I can kind of see where you're going. What incontestability is a little bit different. So this is one of the provisions. So incontestability says if I start my life insurance policy, so let's back up a little bit. When I'm filling out my insurance application for life insurance, I am putting down answers, right? So they're asking me, what is, are you on prescription medication? Have you been diagnosed with cancer? They're going to ask me all sorts of questions on that life insurance application.
Mm-hmm.
When they take that application and they decide to go ahead and issue a policy, then they basically are accepting all the answers that I put down on that application, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I was to say leave a blank answer, they've accepted it. Now, what incontestability is saying is that in the first 2 years that I've started my life insurance policy, they can contest certain claims that I put in. So life insurance is like death, like you can only get one type of thing for life insurance. But so let's say I die, say of cancer. So they're going to be like, wait a minute, we just issued a life insurance policy for her. She should have been relatively healthy. We wouldn't have given her a policy if we knew she was about to die, right? So they're going to go back at my application and they're going to be like, what did she say when we asked her about cancer, about whatever? And maybe it's like it's left blank, or I said, I don't have cancer. So they're going to be like, okay, if she just died of it, it must have been in her body for a while. So first of all, if it was blank, that's on them. They accepted a blank answer. They're going to have to pay the claim. That's actually waiver and estoppel, where they waive their right to know the answer by accepting a blank one and issuing the policy. So that's waiver and estoppel, by the way. But so let's say I said, no, I don't have cancer. So then what they're going to do is they're going to go and talk to my doctors and find out, did I essentially lie to them? Did I have a diagnosis? Did I know that I had cancer when I bought the life insurance policy? So let's say that I did indeed lie, that I had a doctor who had diagnosed me with cancer. And then I signed up for a life insurance policy and I lied on my application. So if the insurance company discovers this lie in the first 2 years and I die and I try to make a claim, they will not pay the claim. They'll say you lied to us. So basically they have 2 years to catch me if I lied. If I go after the 2 years, so let's say I'm 3 years in, 4 years in, 5 years in, and I die of cancer, and I said no cancer, they won't contest it. It's incontestable. So then they would just accept it. So life insurance basically says in the first 2 years, so incontestability on life insurance says, in the first 2 years, if we catch you in a lie, we will not pay the claim. After that, whatever, it's past the 2 year period, we'll pay the claim, whether you lied or didn't lie. So and now health insurance is a little bit different. They call it time limit on certain defenses. And on health insurance, they can always kick you out if you lied. So they will not pay a claim if you lied ever. So if they're like 10 years in and you lied and they know that you lied, they won't pay the claim. Life insurance does actually allow you to get away with a lie if it's past the 2-year mark.
2 years. Okay.
So it's a little bit different on life and health. That's one of the provisions that is slightly different between the life and the health side. So on life, it's called incontestability. Mm-hmm. If they catch me lying in the first 2 years, they can deny the claim. After that, they cannot deny the claim, even if I lied. Health insurance says that if I lied, they count it as fraud and they will never pay the claim if they find out that I was lying. Now, if there was incorrect information, like for example, on the health insurance side, let's say I didn't understand one of the questions, like I put the wrong information, whatever, who knows. And then I have an issue with that. And they're like, wait a minute, you said this, but this is the reality. Like, oh, I didn't understand. It was a mistake. If it was a mistake, that's one thing. But if you outright lied, that's another thing. So in the first 2 years on health insurance, if they catch a lie or a mistake, they can deny the claim. After 2 years, any mistakes, it's past the point of them being able to, check into that. Now, again, on health insurance, if I lied, though, that they count that as fraud. Does that make sense? Do you have questions with that one?
Yeah, it does actually make a lot more sense.
Okay, yeah, because you were like you were hitting kind of around it, but not on the target. Yeah. What about the free look period in life insurance? What is that?
So free look period is, let's say you get the policy insured and you have to, there's pretty much a 10-day period on when it gets delivered to the customer's house, and they have the 10 days to take a look at it and see if it makes sense. And then if they want to cancel it, they have 10 days to ship it back to the policy.
Yeah, and to return it for a full refund.
Yep, for the full refund.
I can cancel it anytime. Like I could be 20 days in and say, I don't want it, but they're going to keep 20 days worth of money essentially for that policy to get all of my money back, and to cancel it as if it never existed. I would have to do it during the free look period. Now, when does the free look period begin? You kind of said it, but I want to really.
So it begins right when it delivers to their doorstep, pretty much.
Yeah, when it's in their hands. Yeah. Yep. So I like to say when it's in their hands, when they've received it, then because when they're actually able to look at it. So a lot of people get confused and they think the free look period is the first 10 days that the policy exists, the first 10 days that it's issued, but that's not true. The free look period starts counting. The 10 days starts counting after it's been delivered, that they can actually look at it. Now, 10 days is the standard amount of time. Some states could be a little bit different. You'd have to check your state law, but for most everybody, 10 days is perfect. Okay. What about, let's see, life provisions. I almost got to pull them up. So like, what do we got here? Let's see, we got what about the grace period? Talk to me about that.
So grace period, let's say you have the ones insured and their payment date is on the 30th of the month, and they were to miss the payment, they pretty much have a grace period to make up the payment.
And how long is my grace period?
The grace period is, I want to say, I believe it's not a 30-day, but I don't know this one.
Yeah, so on life, so generally speaking, on life insurance, the grace period is 30 days on life insurance. When we get into the health insurance side, it's based on the premium payment. And so like if, for every, if I pay weekly, the grace period is 7-day grace period for a weekly payment, 10-day grace period for a monthly payment, 30 for all other, whether I pay annually, semi-annually, whatever. But life insurance generally is going to be 30 days. So if I miss my payment and I'm 2 days into the grace period and I die on my life insurance, would they pay the claim?
Yes, they would.
Would they do anything about that missed payment?
I believe they would reduce it as I was just reading this earlier too. They would reduce it to how many days you're into the grace period.
Well, they would take the payment out of the claim amount. So like to
Okay.
keep numbers very simple, let's say I have $1,000 death benefit. So if I die, they pay me $1,000 or my family $1,000, whatever. And my monthly payment was $100. So if I missed my payment and I'm still in the grace period, any point that I'm in the grace period and I die, they will pay the claim, but they will subtract my unpaid premium
Okay.
from my death amount. So if my death amount was 1,000 and my monthly payment was 100, my family would get a check for $900.
900. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a provision actually called unpaid premium. So if you make a claim during the grace period and they pay out the claim, they will subtract the unpaid premium from that claim amount, and so it'll be reduced by what you owed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What is the insuring clause?
Oh man. This.
Okay, so the
I need
insuring
help on that
clause,
one.
yeah, it's okay. So the insuring clause is known as the promise to pay. So this is the part of the insurance policy. And then the insuring clause exists in life, health, property, casualty, all of them. I like to say that the insuring clause is the essence of the policy. The policy would not exist without the insuring clause. It's basically the part of the policy that says, we will cover you if these things happen. And so you want to know the insuring clause or the insuring agreement. Sometimes you can see it both ways. It's the same thing. Whether they say insuring clause or insuring agreement, same. And it's basically the promise to pay. And it's basically a statement that says this party, which is the insurer, because when it comes to contracts, we're in a party. So the insurer is known as one party. The insured is another party. So it says this party, the insurer, promises to pay this party, the insured, if the peril, the cause of loss, were to occur. So in life insurance, the peril is almost always just death. I mean, technically, you can also have a life insurance policy that covers the loss of a limb if you have the A, D, and D on there, accidental death and dismemberment. But the insuring clause is a promise to pay. It's a statement that says this party will cover this party if these perils were to occur. And it's just kind of like the promise, you're buying this policy, and if this thing were to happen, we're going to pay you out. That's the insuring agreement, insuring clause.
Okay.
What is consideration?
Consideration is both parties would have to obtain that. They would have to bring what's it called? What's the word? Value. Yep.
Yes. So consideration is a part of the policy that says both parties, right? Because parties insure, and the parties are always insured and insurer. So both parties must bring value to the other party. So and then they're going to ask you. So one, they're going to ask you straight up, what does consideration mean? Consideration says both parties must bring value to the other party. And then they're going to ask you, what is consideration on the side of, and they can ask you both insured and insurer. And this is where we have to get very careful, because that test question could literally be exactly the same except one letter off at the very end. Insured versus insurer. It could be an R or a D, and the question reads exactly the same except for that one little letter changes everything. So this is also where when someone's really close to passing, they're just a couple of points off. I'm like, it could be so slight that you're just not the content if you're getting that close to passing, but you could be reading a little bit too fast and reading insured when you should have read insurer, and vice versa. So they like to ask, what is consideration on the side of the insured? What is consideration on the side of the insurer? And that question looks exactly the same, except that one little letter at the end. So one, pay attention, insured or insurer. And I literally encourage people to read the question out loud and say insurer, insured, like really emphasize which one. Like whenever you get to a word that looks like insured or insurer, when it's that word, really emphasize the ending to make sure you solidify in your mind. Are they asking me about the company or the customer? The insurer or the insured? So, but consideration. So consideration says both parties must bring value to the other party. So the insurer needs to bring value to the insured, and the insured needs to bring value to the insurer. And they're going to ask you, what is that value essentially? But they don't use the word value. They use what is consideration on the side of the insured and what is consideration on the side of the insurer. So consideration on the inside of the insured, the customer, the person wanting an insurance policy, the value that they bring is basically their risks, but we say application. So like if I, I have the risk of dying, I have the risk of not leaving my family any money if I die. Like I'm the income earner. I'm right here. I'm making money right now with you all, like putting like I'm the income earner. So if I die, my family can't bring in income. So that's a risk that I have in my life. And so I put that on the application. You don't say if I die, my family will suffer, but like you have the risk of death. And I want to transfer that to the insurance company. That risk has value because I'm willing to pay someone money to take it from me, right? So when we say what is consideration on the side of the insured, the customer, it's their risks that they're willing to pay someone to take. But we sum that up by saying application, because your application essentially contains all of your risks. And then it's the money that we will pay for them to take that risk from us. So the value of the customer, the value that the insured brings to the insurer is our app plus our premium, our application plus our premium, all of our risks and the money that we're going to pay them to take those risks from us. But again, they won't ask you what value does the customer bring. They're going to say, what is consideration on the side of the insured? Application plus premium. And truly, like the most important piece to that side is just premium. So this is where it gets a little weird, is the very best answer. When they ask you what is consideration on the side of the insured, sometimes they won't give you the option application plus premium. They'll just say premium. And that would be the answer you choose. So this is where it can get a little bit funky. So if there's an answer choice, application plus premium, go for that. But if they say premium only, you're still going to say you choose that one if they don't have app plus premium, if they just say premium. Because at the end of the day, the best value that you're giving them is the money for the risks that they're taking. That's why the risks have value, because you're willing to pay for them. So the most important piece of consideration on the side of the insured, the customer, is the premium, the money that they're paying the insurance company to take those risks. Okay. What do you think the value is from the insurance company to the customer, the insured? Oh, he disappeared. Okay, let me finish that thought. So the value that the insurer brings to the customer, to the insured, is the promise to pay a claim. So if I again am worried that if I die, my family won't have money, by buying a life insurance policy, transferring the risk of my death and not earning any income over to the insurance company, the value that I get from them is the promise that they will pay me if I were to die, if that peril were to happen. So that's consideration. And that honestly is on all exams, whether it's life, health, property, casualty, that's on all exams. All right. So he disappeared. I don't know where he went, but he's gone. Okay. So I have a few more people in line, so I'm going to keep going down the line. If you're on TikTok right now, the very best place to watch this is going to be YouTube. Okay. So come to YouTube. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew I was live. So come to the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. That's going to be the best place to see this. It looks a lot better if you join on those places because I'm streaming from StreamYard. Okay, cool. Looks like I'm live in the group. Everything's looking good everywhere. Instagram too. Cool. Got that going. Okay. I just want to check everything. All right. I'm going to bring Genesis on. So Genesis, if you can check your, let's see, bring it. There you are coming. Oh, wait. Here we go. Hello. Hi. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm in Florida. I'm currently studying and retaking for the second time my 220 exam.
What is that one? I don't have that number.
Peak property.
Okay.
Property.
Property and casualty. Okay.
Yeah, property and casualty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your score?
I got a 68 and I needed a 70 to pass.
Very, very close. Okay.
Yeah.
On your score sheet, do you know which sections were like the lowest for you?
State statutes was definitely number one, and number two, I believe, was dwelling.
Dwelling. Okay. Well, they don't separate it by dwelling. It would just be types of property policy.
Yeah, like the ABC coverage. I took a bunch of notes from one of your videos for it.
Good.
I feel like I learned a lot more in your videos than my course that I took previous. But yeah, I kind of need better understanding of the coverage and how they break down into each.
Okay. And
section.
yeah, and have you just entered my world or have you been watching my videos for a minute?
No, I have heard about you for a while, and then I guess it was just getting over like my stubbornness. Like, okay, just do it. And no, I'm new to your world, but it's been helpful. So, yeah,
okay.
I've tried emailing and like inquiring about a class with you and all, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't do one-on. This is the only way I do one-on-ones right now. Is the live tutoring, but. I mean, the very best thing that I can offer you, because we're certainly going to talk about the coverages and stuff right now. But the very best thing that I can offer you is the Gold Class Series package that teaches everything that I would teach you to want you to be ready to pass the exam. And we really go into the dwelling and the homeowners there. If you can't do the $99 package Gold, there are How Understanding Dwelling on the YouTube channel. We also have the free resources on my website. The study notes. There's a 13-page document on dwelling and homeowners. On there. We may have broken it up, but there's tons of information available for free if you can't get the Gold. But that would be the very best thing that I would recommend to everybody is to get the Gold. Okay, so when it comes, with dwelling and homeowners, do you know the difference between the two?
As in, like the structures, or between the difference of like homeowners and renters, or
yeah, well, technically renters is a homeowner's policy. Look, so that's okay. You're totally fine. Don't worry. Like I like to I like to ask questions of where we need to go, right? So when it comes to if your chapter that you're low in is types of property policies, that's going to include dwelling, homeowners, CPP, BOP. But I like to start with dwelling and homeowners there. So the main difference between a dwelling policy and a homeowner's policy is like the one is that with a dwelling policy, the insurance company does not require that the owner of the policy live in the house. On a homeowner's, the person who purchased the policy must live in the house. So that's the huge thing between the two. Is that dwelling doesn't matter if you live there. Homeowner says you have to be the one living there. Okay. Now, the other big difference between dwelling and homeowners is that dwelling does not come with two coverages that are automatic to homeowners. Do you know what those two coverages are?
Was E coverage E?
Liability, yes. Liability, correct. There is an E coverage on dwelling. It's just called something different. But liability, yes. And what else?
And F, coverage F?
Medical payments, yeah. So there's no medical payments on dwelling. Okay. But that kind of is a subcategory of liability. So the two main coverages that we don't have on dwelling that are automatic to homeowners is liability and contents, personal property.
Mhm.
So if generally a landlord is going to buy a dwelling policy, one, because he doesn't live there, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a landlord, I own a house, but I'm not living in it. I'm renting it to other people. So if other people live there, it means that their stuff is inside, not my stuff. So I don't need contents, because contents is your clothes, your shoes, your furniture, your pots, your pans. Could also be called personal property. Contents, personal property, same. And a dwelling doesn't automatically come with that, because most of the time you're a landlord and you don't need that coverage. The tenant, the one living there, would have that on their HO4 renters policy, right?
Right.
And then liability too. Like, liability is generally for the person living there. You're the one inviting people over. You're the one who may have a dog that could bite someone. So the tenant should be the one to carry liability, not the owner of the walls and the structure.
Right.
So that's another huge difference between dwelling and homeowners, is that dwelling does not automatically come with contents or liability. Now, both of those can be purchased and added to dwelling. They're just not automatic to dwelling, where they are automatic to homeowners. Okay.
Okay.
Is that making sense? Okay. So
a
like
little bit.
okay. And again, if you just entered my world, I promise you that dwelling policies explained video is gonna rock your world on the YouTube channel.
I think I've watched it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm still trying to grasp it. It's so much. It's just so much.
Yes. So here's the thing with the policies, is like, what makes a policy different, a DP1, a DP2, a DP3, HO2, HO4, HO5, the main thing that makes them different is the perils that they respond to. What do you call a peril, or what does a peril mean to you?
A peril is anything that could possibly become a loss.
Right? Yes. Yeah, that's what the test way of saying it is cause of loss. So a peril is the cause of loss. It's the fire, the lightning, the wind, the hail, the riot, the explosion, the smoke, the volcano, the falling objects, the bursting of heating systems, the bursting of pipes. So peril is basically anything that can happen to the property. And I like to say that, like, your homeowner's policy or your dwelling policy is basically just like, imagine it's like a sleeping little, elf on the shelf or something. And he's just hanging around. It's like, if something happens, he'll wake up and be like, okay, let me take care of this. Right. So your policy is kind of like asleep, and he will wake up depending on if the correct peril for him happens. So like, if I have a DP1, which is like the bare bones minimum policy that I can possibly get, it's like, I have insurance technically, right?
Right, like just enough.
DP1. That little policy elf on the shelf is going to stay asleep unless 3 things happen: fire, lightning, internal explosion. Those are the only things that will wake up that DP1 policy. And he will stay asleep if anything else happens. So if wind happens, riot happens, the only thing that will wake that DP1 up and start paying out coverages and start providing protection is fire, lightning, and internal explosion on a DP1. Okay. So now, but the coverages, when we say coverages, and we're saying like coverage A, which is like the structure of the house, coverage B, which is like the buildings in the backyard, coverage C, which is all my stuff, my clothes, my shoes, my furniture, all of that stuff is generally, all those coverages tend to be the same, no matter if I'm looking at a DP1, DP2, DP3, HO2, HO4, HO6. They're all generally, the coverages are the same. So what makes a policy really different is what will wake it up and what will it trigger those coverages to turn on. So it's
Like what would
perils.
activate it in a sense?
Say that again.
Like what would activate it in a sense?
Yes, it's perils that will activate the policy. So if I want every possible peril that I could be covered if it were to happen in my house, if I want my little elf policy to wake up for anything that could possibly happen, what policy would I want to have?
You would want coverage D?
Not a cover. All of them kind of have the same. Remember, they kind of all have the same coverages. But what policy type? What would name of the policy? There's a DP1, DP2, DP3, HO2, HO4, HO6, HO8, HO5. Which one would I want?
You would want a HO2?
I would actually want a DP3 or an HO5. Because those are very special policies. Literally, they're actually called special policies. So let's talk about that. So we're talking about perils, and there's a little elf peril. I need to come up with a good name for him. Your policy is a little sleeping elf peril, and he will only wake up depending on what perils happen. A 3 and a 5 are very unique because they don't have specifically listed perils. It will actually wake up if anything happens. Oh, there's fire. Oh, there's lightning. Oh, there's a giant cockroach stomping on your house. Like literally so a 3 and a 5 are actually known as an open peril policy. They're very unique and special because instead of saying, in order for my little policy to wake up and activate, it says we'll be ready to activate basically if anything happens. It doesn't have to be listed and named. So you either have a named peril policy or you have a open peril policy. A named peril says it's listed. It has to be this, and these exact things are the only thing that will wake up your policy and activate it to provide the coverages that are listed. A open peril policy says basically anything that can happen except what's excluded would trigger the policy to activate. There are definitely exclusions, but you're going to get way more coverages on an open peril policy versus a named peril policy. So a 3 and a 5, it's odd numbers. Other than a DP1, this is where we get a little bit weird. The DP1 is always very weird, but a 3 and we generally say an even number. So an even number is a number that's divisible by 2. You can cut it completely in half, and it would be even on both sides. So that would be a DP2, DP4, HO2, HO4, HO6, HO8 are all named peril policies. They have a list of what would wake their little elf up and provide coverages. An odd number, which is not equally divided, like if I have 3, there's no way to equally divide that. One side's always going to have extra, right? So if it's an odd number policy, like a 3 and a 5, it is open peril. So we say odd for open peril. 1 is weird. DB1 is always, it's technically an odd number, but it is a named peril policy. That's the only one that has that. And DP1 is a lot of weird stuff. That's actually kind of what makes it easy, is that it doesn't follow the rules. It's an odd number, but it's still named peril. It does not provide any tree coverage whatsoever. And it's also the only policy that is actual cash value for the walls and the roof. So let's talk about that. What's the difference between actual cash value and replacement value? Or what is AC, like, what does that mean, actual cash value, replacement value?
So actual cash value is when they would pay you off for what it would be at that moment, right? If they got it at that very moment. And then replacement cost, I think, would be on a price that the insured and the insurer settled on.
So we want to be, so at that moment, is actually works for both of them. It kind of depends. A actual cash value is the used value. So if I was like, okay, I've got this big screen here. It's a cool little whiteboard. I haven't needed to use it yet, but if I wanted to sell this, and let's say this cost me $1,000, and I wanted to sell it. Let's say I want to sell it to you, and you're like, yeah, I've been looking for one of those. I'd be like, I paid $1,000. I'm going to sell it to you for $1,000. Would you be like, yeah, sure, that's great? Or would you be like, no,
No.
you've touched it, you've used it, it's not in the box anymore. If you're going to make me pay $1,000, I would just order one myself and have it be brand new. Right? You're going to want to haggle me. You're going to be like, no, let me pay you, $600, $500. You don't want to pay the brand new price. So actual cash value, I like to say, is the goodwill value, the used value of the item. It's what I would, if I was going on Facebook Marketplace, or if I'm going on Craigslist, that's the actual cash value. It includes what we call depreciation. And depreciation is wear and tear. It's the item's been touched, it's been used, it's got scratches in it, whatever, it's been used. Replacement cost, on the other hand, is how much it would be to buy the thing right now, brand new. So today's prices, brand new. So most of our policies, and by the way, actual cash value, in order to determine what amount of money is actual cash value, we would say replacement cost minus depreciation, basically replacement cost minus wear and tear.
Okay.
So the definition of actual cash value includes replacement cost minus depreciation, or replacement cost minus wear and tear. Depreciation, wear and tear, you could see it, you might see it both ways, right? So actual cash value is the goodwill value. Replacement cost is the brand new value. And DP1 is weird because it's the only one that says we will pay you the actual cash value of the walls and the roof, which actually make it really hard for a person you can't rebuild your house with used wood, with used shingle tiles. So this is where you're not going to get as much money you need to actually make the repair to your house. And that's why I say DP1 is bought by guys like Bob the Builder. He's like, I'll do it myself. I don't want to hire someone. I could do that $50,000 job for $500,
Right.
Give me my coffee, my nail, my hammers, and I'll get it done, So a DP1 is actual cash value on the walls and the roof. All the other policies, DP2 and up, they are replacement costs on the walls and the roof, but they are actual cash value for your stuff, your clothes, your shoes, your furniture, your pots, your pans. So every policy written for a homeowners or a dwelling with contents, because you don't automatically get contents on dwelling. But any policy written with contents, it's automatically listed as actual cash value. It's the used value. So if I have a homeowner's policy and no, that's okay. If I have a homeowner's policy and my house gets burned down and I'm like, okay, or let's just say my kitchen, I'm like, I bought these pots and pans brand new for, $500. They're only going to give me $300 for them.
Yeah.
But the walls and the roof, they will fully repay what it's going to cost to rebuild the walls and the roof. So now I can increase my policy if I want brand new for all of my stuff. If I want replacement cost, I can do that, but I have to endorse the policy to add that. What does an endorsement mean?
Endorsement is from what I'm used to, it's like anytime you need to make a change to your policy.
Yeah. So we say written change. An endorsement is a written change to the policy. Now, it doesn't have to cost extra premium. Sometimes written changes could just be fixing the spelling of my name. But it could also be adding additional coverage, adding certain coverages to the policy. Like some common endorsements are, you could add earth movement, you could add water sewer backup as an endorsement. So endorsement, but generally speaking, on the property and casualty exam, when they're talking about endorsements, they are talking about a premium increase. But that's not automatic of all endorsements. Yeah. It's just a written change. But if I wanted to endorse, if I wanted to go from actual cash value for my contents, for my clothes, my shoes, my furniture, my pots, my pans, if I wanted the brand new value instead of the goodwill value, I can endorse the policy to go to replacement cost. But they're going to do something on my coverage C. On my coverage C, do you know how much I get for coverage C automatically when I buy a policy?
No. 10%?
You're getting there. It's a percent number. Yes.
Yeah, it's a percent.
Yes.
I know it's a percentage.
Yes. So coverage C is automatically 50% of coverage A. So coverage A, they're going to say, what would it cost for us to rebuild this house if it completely burned down? So if this house, if it all burned down to the ground, how much money we're going to need to get the wood, to get the foundation back in there, to get the paint, the drywall, all of that, the countertop, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. Coverage A is that amount of money. And so every house is going to be a little bit different. If it's a smaller house, coverage A will be smaller. If it's a bigger house, coverage A will be bigger. And coverage C is automatically listed as 50% of whatever coverage A is. But that amount of money is assuming actual cash value. So if you want to say, I want my coverage C to pay me replacement money instead of goodwill used money, they're going to require that you actually increase your coverage C from 50% to 70%. So that they can that there's enough money for them to buy everything brand new, because that automatic 50 is assuming goodwill used pricing. Right. And so for them to have enough money to get everything brand new again, they're going to make you boost 50% coverage C, 50% to 70%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know we're kind of taking a weird trail around a bunch of different stuff, but I think it's cool. It's just kind of opening up the conversation to different stuff. Okay. So I would say I've got 3 other people in line. We've got a few more. Well, I'll hang on as long as I can. But so what I would encourage you, Genesis, you definitely have information in there in your mind about all this stuff. You're very close to passing. And since you just found me, I would say if you could plug into the YouTube channel, read those notes. I mean, if you really, obviously I always say go for gold, but I know you're only a couple percent away. I'm also a real person. I'm not just like spend $100.
I really like how you teach, because it makes it so much easier to retain. And I'll rewatch your video like 2-3 times to really hold it in. And like I said, I've learned a lot more with the short time I've found out about you than that 4-day course I had to take. So I will be subscribing to something.
Yes. So that's the other thing you could do is I really do encourage everybody to go to my website and get the gold, $99. But we do have a YouTube membership that unlocks unique videos. And one of my favorite videos is about dwelling in homeowners in the YouTube membership. And that one's only could be 30. I think it's 30 something dollars. I'm sorry. I don't know the price, but that's a cheaper route as well. And you can get longer in-depth videos for the homeowners side, the dwelling. I mean, it covers all the topics that you need. But that's a little bit of a cheaper price. So when people say, I want gold level videos, but I don't want 99, you can get the YouTube membership. Now you do lose a little bit. You don't get the split notes. You don't like, and it's a monthly thing and you have to make sure you cancel it, but that's an option too for you if you wanted to check that out. So I would encourage, watch the dwelling videos, watch the homeowners videos, read those notes. You're very, very close. And so do you have any final questions? I'm going to bring somebody else up.
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. You're very, very close. I'm going to send you all the loves, all the vibes.
Thank
Pass
you.
the
I
exam.
appreciate it.
You've got this. You have an amazing day. Oh, in Florida, really check out, you're going to have to study the state law. Who do you have? Do you still have access to them? Kaplan, 80 Banker?
I go through, I don't know if you've heard of her, Diana Fink, Central Insurance School here in Florida.
Nope.
She's very, very popular also. But that's who I've always gone through.
Do you have state law? Do you still have your state law documents from her? Like, or your?
Yeah, I still have all my flashcards. I have like a bunch of study books.
Okay. So when it comes to state law, it is a little bit heavier tested in Florida.
Yeah.
So definitely spend some time just memorizing that stuff. You just got to memorize the rules, the laws, the numbers. So between doing your property side of things, dwelling homeowners, memorizing your state law, you're going to be in a great spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
You're so welcome. All the love, all the ones. Pass your exam.
Thank
Have an amazing day.
you.
Okay. All right. I've got Jorge next in line, but you need to connect your microphone at least in order for me to bring you on, Jorge, because right now there's nothing there. Okay. And then Tiffany, I'm going to bring you up here in a second. Let me just double check some comments. By the way, if you're on TikTok, the best place to watch this is going to be the YouTube channel. It actually looks way better because I'm using what is it called? StreamYard. So I'm streaming directly to the YouTube channel and actually bring people on screen like Genesis, who you just heard talking. You can actually see her if you come to the YouTube channel. I just wanted you guys to know that I was live, so I'm here on the TikTok. All right. Liz asked a question. Does the 50% go for Pennsylvania? I thought it was 10% of coverage A. So let's review that real quick. On a homeowner's policy, generally almost every homeowner's policy, coverage A is the amount that it would cost to rebuild the house. And then you have coverage B, C, and D after that. And each one of them take a percentage of A or are determined by a percentage of A. Coverage B is 10% of A, which is the buildings in the backyard. So if I have a shed that burns down, the amount of money I get for it is going to be 10% of whatever A is. Coverage C is 50% of A, and coverage D on a homeowner's is 30% of A. On a dwelling, coverage D is 20% of A. Okay. So just wanted to clarify that. All right. I'm going to bring you up, Tiffany. All right. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So good. I like your shirt.
Thank you. Go Jags. I am in Florida, obviously, and I have taken my 220 exam, and I have failed both times. Not with the best scores per se. Just kind of like Genesis, my lowest points were the types of property policies, and then the statutes and everything. But the other area where I'm struggling is the bonds per se. That's, I would say, is my third lowest area. I did just write down everything that you and Genesis talked about, and it's definitely helped. I literally came home and purchased the Gold Plus package just because I'm really determined, and I'm starting to feel a little discouraged. I don't know if it's the wording of these exams that are just throwing me off because I can comprehend it, and I literally write down everything that I've watched of yours so far on YouTube. And kind of like Genesis said, I've learned more from you than I think from my actual program. I just comprehend it better. But the minute I get to this test, I'm like, I don't even know what my name is. So I'm struggling somewhere. Unfortunately, I keep failing and I really need to pass.
Yeah. What was your most recent score?
58. It was
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but to some level, we also want to keep our mind set up. Like, it is a hard test, and you're not alone.
Yeah. I literally said, I'm like, I feel like this is fail. Like, I am like, they designed it to make me fail. Like, that's what I call my mom. I'm like, I feel like, and even today, I feel like today's test was easier than the other test I took. And I just am like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I said, I know what a peril is. I know what a hazard is. And I like, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, in her video, she says like, the fallen leaves and the slippery sidewalk, like what is what? Like I go through it. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, it is a really hard test, and they're not, they're not just testing you on did you learn these definitions and what this stuff means. They're also testing you on can you read a really weird worded question.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
way they word it is terrible. Honestly, like the wording, I really do think that's part of the problem is the wording is so bad. I'm like, wait, but this makes sense and this makes sense. And, it's just one of those things for me.
yeah. So you just got gold, is that correct?
I bought Gold Plus.
Okay, perfect. That'll give the state law guide too.
Yes.
So, and the quizzes and exams, yeah. So, but I wouldn't focus too much on the quiz and exams. I'm not a big proponent of quizzing yourself constantly. But one of the very last videos in gold is understanding difficult or navigating difficult test questions. And Peter teaches this class, and he's really, really amazing at helping people slow down, look for, how to find what it is that you're actually trying to look for in the question. And so in the gold package, we don't just teach you the information, we actually take time to talk about the test itself and being prepared for, understanding those difficult words and, how to tackle a question. Like the accept questions. Why do they have to do us? How do they have to do us dirty like that?
Yeah.
Instead of telling us what something is, tell us what it's not. Like,
Yes.
what?
Yeah, and I had one question today and it was like a deer ran into your house and it caused damages to your windows and your walls. Is it covered under HO2, HO3? Like what is it covered under? And that's when I would sit there and I was like, okay, well, open, walls, interior. And I don't know if I messed myself up because when I think HO3, I think of take everything that's inside of your home, flip it upside down, and that's what's covered. It's covered in, but then I think I mix something up too. So I'm a
Okay,
little,
so I'm glad you brought this up. So what they're asking for is they're not asking, is this A, B, C, or D? What they're asking is a deer coming into your house a covered peril?
gotcha.
So remember what we just talked about with Genesis was we said there is a named peril policy and an open peril policy.
Yeah.
When we look at a named peril policy in the broad form, HO2 and above, there's named perils: fire, lightning, wind, hail, riot, vehicle, explosion, smoke, bursting of heating systems, bursting of pipes, collapse, falling objects, stuff like that.
And they always throw earthquake in there as well. Like they love to throw earthquake on every single one.
Earth movement is not covered unless you have now earth movement is also excluded on an open peril too. You'd have to buy that as an endorsement. So a deer coming into your house, a wild animal destroying property in your house is actually not a named peril on an HO2, which means it wouldn't be on a 4, a 6, or an 8 either, because HO2 is the first one, and then all the evens after that. HO8 is a little bit weird. It's modified. It doesn't have as many, but that would not be covered on a named peril policy. It's not a covered peril. So you would either need a HO3 or an HO5 for that answer.
Gotcha. I think I put 3 because I think I just remembered inside.
That means you got it correct.
I don't remember. So I hope so. I do wish it was a situation where we were able to see our test. So it's like, okay, what did the score sheets are great, but I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong and where?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And the thing is though, they can't really show you that because you could technically like memorize
give it to someone else. Yeah, I know. But like I said, I plan on just drilling myself into your world of gold, literally, until I can retake my test. So.
Yeah, since you just got it and you're going to be able to watch the video. And what I would encourage you, watch the videos from top to bottom and take the notes. So my teaching, I'm always drawing a chart, writing something out, and that is key. So listening and then drawing and writing the charts. Now, if you don't have enough time and you can't sit at your desk constantly and write all the notes, still be listening to the videos as you're driving, wherever you're going, getting the information in your head very, very helpful. But I think based on what you just said, when you talked to me about that question, it's like you have the knowledge, but I don't like it's the concepts of being able to like grab exactly what you need from that. Because instead of thinking the deer coming into your house as a peril, you went to, well, what is windows and what is walls? And so you wanted to go after the coverages, A, coverage B, coverage C, instead of thinking that they're actually asking about a peril.
Yeah.
And so the videos in gold will really help out with that, because I talk about it. I don't just define coverage A and coverage B. We talk about the whole house, the whole situation. I think that's really going to help you out.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. When do you test again?
I have not set it up yet. I technically took it today. So Pearson views, policies, I have to wait 24 hours to go ahead and retake it. Personally, I would like to just hurry up and get this done and going.
Yes.
I'm very determined and eager, and it's like I have it fresh in my mind and everything. So if I can do it like next Friday, like even if it's a couple days from now, so I can get everything in my brain, take gold, do all that, I want to do that. So
Yeah. And
hopefully
it's
I'm going to
about
do it next week.
34 hours of video. So I would
Yeah.
say it's like schedule your test as quickly as you can, and watch all the videos, take all the notes, and you're going to be really good. And the fact that even that I swear we've got like magic fairy energy. And just the fact that you talked to me, that we hung out, it really puts you in a good place to be able to pass the exam. I give you, extra juju vibes when you go to take your test.
I appreciate it. I've been feeling really discouraged, and I just, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
and you
really
know what?
appreciate it.
And I do tell people too, like first of all, it is a hard test. It's difficult. You can study and study and study and still, really struggle to pass, because one, they ask the questions weird, and two, you could have like a subconscious block where you don't want to pass. Like there was one time I had an agent, she had already passed a lot of her exams, but she needed the life and health. She had PNC. She wanted the life and health side so she can open up her own agency. She's like, I've studied already. I know this stuff. I passed these exams. I don't know why I can't pass. And I just started talking to her, asking her questions. And she actually had a lot of fear about having her own agency. And I was like, I think your fear might be getting in your way of you passing, because it means your whole world's about to change. If once you pass this test, you're now a new person, you got a new job, you got a new situation. Sometimes we subconsciously block ourselves from passing because change is scary, So when the discouragement is the one thing that I would also focus on. And I talk so much about that in gold too. Like you're going to feel a lot better too, as you're watching the videos. But this is where, when you're, what is the job that you're going to have? Do you know what you're doing?
I'll be working with commercial lines. For the woman that I'll be working for, I'll be more with her commercial lines. But for Florida, I just need to have it all. So she does have a whole company, so I get to know it all and everything. But my main focus will be commercial.
And so will you be actively selling or servicing policies?
I'm just servicing policies.
Just servicing? Okay. All right. Because as an insurance agent, when you're selling, you're going to face rejection, and you're going to have to be able to handle it. And so sometimes we fail the exam so that we can be prepared to handle, rejection.
Failure.
But yeah, so I would, give yourself a lot of grace. This is a hard test. I'm working really hard. I trust myself. I can do this. I can do hard things. I think our school systems kind of messed us up a little bit. We see the word fail, and then that means we are a failure. And so sometimes we just have to work. We have to work through that. It's a hard test. Give myself grace. I've got this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it no matter what it takes. I've got this. And you really are. Now that you've got gold, you're in such a good spot.
Thank you. Yeah, I immediately came home and bought it. So I was like, all right, I'm buying gold. I'm caving. I mean, I'm in the process of moving. So just funds are a little limited. I'm like, I'm done. I'm buying it. So I literally have it pulled up. Like I'm ready. So
yeah, it's going to make a big difference for you. Absolutely. So I'm super excited. So I'm going to send you all the loves, all the vibes. Tiffany, watch that gold, and then let us know when you pass. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. I've got Miranda left. I'm going to bring up Miranda, and then that will be it for today. And then I'm going to be coming back on the 20th. Hello, Miranda. How are you?
Hello. I've watched so much of your videos. I feel like I've known you for years.
I get that a lot.
So, I'm studying for my property and casualty test in the state of Kansas. My state's a little different. You get 3 times to take it. After the third time, you have to wait 6 months. So, like, this is my last time to like
Got
take it for a while. The first time I got a 69%. The second time I did it online at 10 o'clock at night after having the flu, and I got a 62%. That was a stupid thing. I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, I have to pass it this time. So I've worked through the gold. I've gotten to everything except the video with Peter that you were just mentioning with Tiffany.
Yep.
I know the information, but ever since I was young in school, I am not a good test taker. I get to the test and I see the screen and all my stuff I don't black out, but all of it's like gone. I'll read the question and I can't retain or recall it. So
Yeah.
I was wondering more like test skills. And I have a couple of points.
So it's actually mindset more than test skills that I would say that I would want you to focus on.
Okay.
So we believe everything we tell ourselves. So every time you say, I'm a bad test taker, your body, your mind is going to prove you correct. So when I say I suck at tests, I'm bad at tests, I sit in front of a test, the body's like, make sure she sucks at this. Make sure she feels bad at this. So this is where, and this kind of like comes on that conversation we kind of just had, is like sometimes the school systems has like really messed us up. Like you could literally have had an experience at school where a teacher was like, you're just bad at tests. And now it's like, that's become your identity and you're holding this like wound, about I'm a bad test taker. So this is where I would encourage you to be like, you know what? I'm fabulous at taking tests. Like, and this is where the placebo effect works. So do you know what the placebo effect is?
Yeah.
You believe that something is true, whether it's is or isn't, and it ends up working just because you believe it. Like that's how strong our beliefs are. So I would encourage for you, like, I've got this. I can do this. I know the information. I know it. And I can guess correctly, like those multiple choice questions don't have nothing on me. Like I can choose the right answer. And so that would be the main thing that I would focus you on. I mean, yes, definitely watch the navigating difficult test questions with Peter, right? So I'm not saying ignore test skills, but I would say the strongest thing I'd want you to focus on is like feeling like I can do tests. I've got this. I can do hard things. Okay. Like a lot of people, we feel like we can't do hard things and we just crumble, I can do hard things. I've got this. And, have you listened to the Getting Pumped to Pass video before you go take your test?
I haven't. No, I seen your videos just this last time the second time I seen your videos and I said, you know what? I'll give the girl however much money she wants. I'm going to pass. So, okay. I've worked through some of it, but I haven't made it completely through everything. I do the mindset study video every day before I do my studying. Okay. So if there's something I can watch, you're saying before the test?
Yeah. So there's a video like that, except I'm about to take the test.
Okay.
So it's getting pumped to take the test as opposed to getting pumped to study.
Okay. Take the
so
test.
This gets you in the mood, like I can pass the test, I can guess correctly, I've got this. And that's on the YouTube channel. I think we also put it in gold too. So it should be available in both places. But I think I have two of them. I have an older one and then a newer one that I did a little bit ago. But getting pumped to pass and just really getting yourself like worked up, like I got this, I can do this. This test ain't got nothing on me. And what I would want you to do is like literally visualize yourself. Like, do you like dragons or like, I don't know, something like what would be a thing that you like? Food. UFC fighting, something like I want you to visualize being
like the Conor McGregor walk. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Go do the Conor
Yes.
McGregor walk and like look and like imagine the exam, whatever that represents for you. It could be a computer, could be a piece of paper. I don't know. Imagine that exam and doing the McGregor walk, and then it's like knocking out the test. Like visualize yourself knocking it out and then winning. Okay, that does a lot for our psyche and our mind and stuff. So
Okay,
prepare
perfect.
yourself to pass by literally visualizing yourself and tackling it, right? Because your biggest block is I'm a bad test taker. So that means I have to fail because I'm a bad test taker. So you also gotta beat that belief down and say, I'm an amazing test taker and I'm gonna prove it. Like you gotta, do that thing. So visualize that Conor McGregor walk, punching out that exam. He falls down, you're winning. And then watch Gold, watch Getting Pumped to Pass, and you're gonna be in a great spot. You got this.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for putting your content out like this. It saves lives, literally.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
all right,
you.
Miranda. I'm going to send you all the loves, all the vibes past the exam. You have an amazing day.
See ya.
Bye. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. We hit a lot of today ended up being PNC all day today. No, we did life and health at the very beginning with Miles before he accidentally dipped out, whatever. So I will be back again on the 20th at 3 p.m. Central Time, so an hour later than we started today. I encourage everybody, like, if you're like, God, the way she teaches just makes so much sense. Gold is the way to get me, like, teaching you all the things you need to know. So whether you've been studying and reading and Kaplan, Excel, 80 Banker, ExamFX not working for you, Gold is what will unlock it for you. Well, because I teach it. Like when you're taking your courses, Kaplan, 80 Banker, Excel, ExamFX, it's mostly all reading. And then you lose it. It doesn't make sense. It's just the words begin to jumble. Your eyes begin to melt out of your head. You start pulling your hair out. If you learn by listening, if you learn by watching, if you learn by funny jokes and stupid little drawings, that's how I teach. And so you'll get that in the Gold Class Series package. It's available for purchase on the website, insuranceexamqueen.com. There is PNC Gold. There is Life and Health Gold, $99. We have a few other package options. If you need your state law guide, if you want extra practice questions, if you want a tutoring chat where you can talk to a tutor via text, that's the Platinum package. It's all available on the website. And we do have the YouTube membership as well. It unlocks extra videos for you that go more into depth. You can get that Life and Health Peter videos on YouTube or my videos, Property and Casualty. I teach those ones. But I want you guys to pass. And if you can't afford that, if that's out of your price point, if you already paid too many retest fees, you've already, paid for the Excel, Kaplan, 80 Banker, and you're zeroed out, YouTube, watch the YouTube videos, go to the website, click on free resources. I have written out a lot of the things that I teach, and it's on the study notes under the free resources. We also have a Facebook group where you can join and ask questions. You can also research past stuff. There was somebody one time who literally had a photographic memory, and she just would write question after question that she remembered from the exam, and we would teach the content in that post, and that was a while ago. So there's a lot of old content in the Facebook group that teaches and explains. So that's a great place to go. It's just Insurance Exam Queen Study Support on Facebook. But you do have to answer the questions and agree to the rules or whatever. But yeah. So we're getting there. Let me see the comments. So TikTok, the best place to have watched this was YouTube, but you guys are up in Comment City over there. To Casa, I passed my first part with your Gold program. Yes. Now you need to do the Life and Health. You got this. Yes. Okay. So, again, I'll be back here next week on the 20th at 3 p.m. Central. YouTube and the Facebook is going to be the best place to watch this video, but it's also on Instagram. And then I go live on my phone on TikTok. You don't get to see all the cool stuff. That's going to be on the YouTube channel and the Facebook group. So check out insuranceexamqueen.com, Gold Class Series package, $99. You could get more if you want. Just subscribe to Tiffany. We should study. Yes. Genesis said, Tiffany, we should study together on the 220 exam. Yeah, absolutely. So Tiffany and Genesis, if you guys are able to find each other in the comments or find each other in the Facebook group, you guys are studying for the same exact test. So you guys could work together on that. Okay. All right. I love you all so much. I'm sending you guys all the loves, all the vibes. So have an amazing day. You guys got this.